We welcome you once again to the Phil Taylor Jones Show, and as always we invite you to come on along with us on these little junkets that we go on occasionally. Today, sorrowful to say, it's going to be the same thing. We're going to be talking about Decision 2016. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and let's talk about a few things. Now, you know that for the past few shows we've been focusing in on Dr. Jill Stein, the Green Party's choice for President of the United States. And as you know, the Phil Taylor Jones Show stands with her in her quest to become President of the United States. So, with that in mind, I'll ask you a question. When is the last time in recent history that you could look back upon our presidents and say, I'm proud to have this person as a president. I'm really happy with what they've done, and actually see some good deed that has happened in the country, whether it be in the form of more money in your paycheck, better housing costs, better food prices, insurance prices. When you go to fill up your car at the gas pump, are the prices to your liking? When you travel down the streets in your city, how many homeless people do you see there? How many veterans are standing there saying, I'm a vet and I'm hungry, please give me $1? When you look at your surroundings, how much Americana do you see? Or do you see a lot of foreign writing on buildings? When you make phone calls to pay your bills, you have to sit there and wait until you go through a library of, if you're this nationality, or if you're that nationality, press this number, or what have you. Your neighbors, how many of them actually speak English and can converse with you at a somewhat lengthy pace? When is the last time you could honestly say, I'm proud of America? That's our focus. We haven't had that in quite a long time. If you go back in recent history, I'd probably say that Ronald Reagan was a president that we could be proud of. He did well financially. He kept us safe, and he was an overall good president, I think. He was a good guy. But everything after Reagan, forget it. Pure, utter madness. And not to mention this pitiful mess that we have in office right now. So here we are in 2016, just a couple of months away from electing a new leader. The mainstream establishment politicians and political parties have given us two real doozies to vote for. Hillary Clinton, who is as crooked as the day is long, and Donald Trump, who is as crazy as the day is long. And that's our only choice. No. There's Jill Stein of the Green Party, and then there's this Gary Johnson, another Lulu, from the Libertarian Party. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you to beseech you to look at Jill Stein with great scrutiny, with an open mind and an open heart, because this lady as I said before, she just makes sense. She speaks truth in volumes. And more importantly, she stays on her task. You see, I would liken Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's woo for presidency to a baseball mom. She's got the SUV or the minivan all packed up with the team, going to baseball practice. They've got to be at the field at a specific time. Okay, so she gets off the surface streets. She's on the freeway. But unless she remains focused, her being on the freeway isn't going to help. She should have stayed on the surface streets if she's going to listen to the kids. Hey, Mom, can we stop by the Burger King and get some Whoppers? And then she pulls off. Hey, Mom, can we stop off over at Dairy Queen and get some ice cream? Then she pulls off again. Hey, Mom, can we go and slide down the water park? We still got a lot of time before we have to hit the field. And she pulls off again. But what she doesn't realize is that she doesn't have a lot of time. And that all these little detours is definitely going to pull away from her main focus. Well, that's the same way with this Trump and this Clinton woman. They're so full of detours that they very seldom stay focused enough to get to the main destination. You see, Trump is full of all of his pompous rhetoric and his meism. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And here of late, he's more focused on Hillary Clinton, tearing her down. Hillary Clinton has so much scandal and so much garbage trailing her that she can't keep the focus. And then she too is trying to drag him down. So you see, these two are not the ones to put your trust or your hope in. Just look at them on the during the primaries when they were having the debates, especially this Trump fella. He's all off into some woman's face, or she's bleeding out of whatever, taking digs at the people that were up on stage with him. Taking digs on Bush's family, so much so that they won't even support him. I think they're going to try to go with Clinton. Of course, they're all in bed with each other anyway, so that doesn't matter hill of beans. But what the point is I'm trying to make is, when is the last time we could be proud of anybody we even sent up to try to get to be the presidential nominee? It's too corrupt. It's too fragmented. It's too much of a problem for these seemingly political people to get to the common goal, and that's what to do for the people in this country, inasmuch as we are suffering. So I would then again ask you to honestly think of what these people represent. They represent nothing. They're just like that baseball mom on the way to the field with the team, and they're constantly going off in detours, and they're going to be late for the game. We don't need that. Now, there are some that will say, excuse me, Phil. Well, they won't say that, but I'm trying to be polite. There are some out there that will say, hey, well, that's the way politics run. They sling mud at each other. That's what they do. That's the norm. When we're sitting in $20 trillion worth of debt, we've got illegal foreigners coming into our country, threatening our lives, and actually taking our lives. We've got people coming into the country under the guise of refugees when they're actually big, bulky people, ready and able to carry a bomb. We've even got kids now. You can't even take the kids for granted. They could have bombs. Coming into our country, disrupting, not to mention all the things that this current idiot that we have for president has been doing, the $400 million to Iran. Where did that come from? How did it come to be? And obviously it was a covert operation because they're using a private jet to do it. It wasn't in one of the Air Force Ones or whatever. It's private jet. So, you know, what's that all about? Crookedness and corruption. That's what it's all about. So, Again, this is what the Democrats have offered. This is what the Republicans have offered. To those naysayers that say, well, that's the way politics works. No, we're looking for something new. You know, if you don't like the job that you're doing, change your line of work. That's what we need. We need a change from the norm, because the norm is not getting us anywhere. What was that philosophy of, what is it? Frizzly-haired guy, Einstein. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same old thing, but expecting a different result. We have done the same old thing for decades. It's either been a Democrat or it's either been a Republican. And now we're screwed to the tune of $20 trillion worth of debt. Our jobs are gone. We don't make anything anymore. That Trump fellow was right about that. But then what did he do? We don't win at anything. We don't make anything. We don't do anything in this country anymore. Yeah, right, Mr. Trump, with all of your artifacts being made in foreign third world countries. Okay, cool. Making America great again. We need to change our way of looking at things desperately. That's where Jill Stein comes in. This woman has just wonderful ideals. She has wonderful ideas. She has a wonderful outlook for what could be done in this country. Yes, there are problems here. This is true. We'd be a fool if we said otherwise. But to fearmonger and to make it worse than it actually is without painting in some kind of color of optimism is so defeatist. This woman, she knows of the problems, but she's looking ahead with a positive outlook. She's looking ahead to going to Washington to bring people closer together so that something can get done, to break up the gridlock, to break up with her. I'm not going to work with her. She's terrible. Or she's so much of a pompous ass. I don't want to work with her. She's not like that. This woman, I know, made significant strides in the field of medicine because of the way she is. She's inclusive. She's optimistic. Not blindly optimistic, mind you, but she's optimistic and she's very courageous. I can't think of anyone so courageous in recent history than Jill Stein. She operates on a budget of absolutely nothing. But even that does not hinder this lady. She is like a bull in a china shop when it comes to getting to the point and the position she needs to be in to do the greater good. And that's why we need her. We need to stand with her, not Hillary Clinton, who is a known corruption magnet. I live here in SoCal, Southern California. I will be voting for Jill Stein. Make no mistake about it. But I would urge my fellow Californians, I would urge my fellow Americans to think of Jill Stein in a way so that we get votes for her. We get her elected. Hillary Clinton has never been the way. When I first saw her come on the scene, her and her disgusting husband, I couldn't stand him blowing the flute or the saxophone on the, I think it was the Johnny Carson show at that time, with his sunglasses on. Oh, God, it was disgusting. I mean, not that the president can't, attain some kind of air of, I'm just like one of you guys, but I mean, it was just something about his demeanor, his persona that made my skin crawl. As though to say, if he were a used car salesman and he'd sell you a car and then say, yeah, for $500 extra, you'd like a motor to go in it. Or if he were to shake your hand, you'd come away going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're all there. Just sleazy. And then his wife with that little rat smile of hers. Disgusting. And not only just to feel that way, but for her and he to give you reason to feel that way. Think about this thing, people. Think about it. Don't fall for stupid, slick speeches, or that they're with you, or that they want to make America great again, not based on what they're saying, but based on what they've done. So much scandal. I mean, you know, like I said, everybody's got a little skeleton in the closet. But to have a Taj Mahal full of skeletons, that's what these two represent. They're full of scandal, they're full of corruption, they're full of, well, they're full of that other stuff too, I won't mention, but yeah, they're full of that. So why are we even considering these people? The world is laughing at us. And that was not the case 50, 60 years ago. The world had a reverential fear of us because we were strong in every way. We were strong militarily. We were strong financially. We were strong patriotically. We were just a strong country. People admired us and wanted to be Americans because of who we were. Sorrowful to say, that's not the case today. The only way that people want to come here is to sponge off of us, or to come here and further destroy us. When is the last time you had a president you could be proud of? When is the last time you had a president that made things in our country so wonderful that you were proud to be an American? When is the last time when you picked up anything in bulk at either big box stores or whatever that has a U.S. flag on it that says proudly made in America? It's time that we get that back. It's time that we start producing Americana again. It's time for us to go on a picnic and have fun again. It's time for us to get with our neighbors and know them. It's a shame to live in a 40-unit apartment building and you don't know anyone because they don't speak your language. They don't have the same goals and philosophies as you. They're standing there with their hands out saying, "Gimme," not extending a hand in friendship. Would you rather have a hand extended in friendship or a hand extended with a bomb? That's what I'm talking about. We need a president we can count on to be there to make the tough call, but at the same time, be gentle enough to try to extend a friendly hand. If the occasion fits. That is Jill Stein. Yeah, you may look at her and say, oh, there's a woman who wants to be president. And she is. She's a woman. But you look at her, you listen to her, you will see very quickly that she is no pushover. She is no mamby-pamby person to be pushed around like so much flotsam in the sea. She is a woman of substance. She is a woman that can be kind and gentle. She can be a raging fire when she needs to be. That's who we need. We need somebody who can tell the difference between the two things. There is a time to be a tough person. And then there's a time to be a person that turns away rage. Hillary Clinton is not the way. Donald Trump is not the way. I would urge you to go to Jill 2016. Again, look at that philosophy. Read it with a fine-tooth comb. Then she has various little buttons up at the top of her dashboard. One of them is being active and supporting, signing petitions. If you believe in her message, do that. And do it quickly. We have less than 80 days. I kind of lost count, but I know there's September and October, and then right on November, we only have 8 days. So the time is slipping away. So why not make your time count and start supporting a person who will give us the opportunity to stand with her and not have to dodge every piece of feces that is thrown at her. Stand with Jill. She will be the one to make our great country even greater, because she will do it with integrity, with dignity, and with intelligence. And she will stay on that course. She's the baseball mom, but she's the baseball mom that says, kids, we'll get Whoppers, we'll get ice cream, we'll get donuts, we'll get anything you want to get after the game. Because I know that we can win that game, because we're going to get there and you guys are going to practice a little bit and then you're going to take the field with authority. And when that game is won, we'll get everything you want to get, because it will be time for celebration. Keeping one's priorities straight and fixed is what we need. We don't need business as usual. Because if you do things the way you always have, things will be the way they always were. So please, take a look at a candidate that will do us some good. We don't need a career sleazeball. And we don't need a career pompous ass. That gets us nowhere. We need someone to move us forward, to consider us as viable human beings that are there. You see, these two, Clinton and Trump, they don't even recognize us. They'll want to use us. Oh, we want to get the black vote. We want to get the Hispanic vote. They don't care about either one of us. All they care about is getting what they want, and when they get it, screw you. Again, I ask, is that what you want? If it isn't, Jill Stein is to be deeply and completely considered for this grand office of President of the United States. Yeah, when people say this is a crucial, most crucial election of our lifetime. Well, yeah, now it is. That much in debt, and our country being in bigger trouble as it is, being overrun by so much foreign interest, that we have lost our focus, we have lost our compass, we have lost our identity. You best better believe this is the most crucial election of our lifetime. And we want to send a person to that White House that is equipped to run things the right way. That's something that hasn't been done for so many decades. Jill Stein is your choice. Will you join with me? Will you join with the exec and the Green Party and so many other Americans who are waking up to the fact that Jill Stein is the only way to go for a betterment of our country? And as she says, putting things back in our hands. Jill Stein, you know what you have to do. Please join the Phil Taylor Jones Show in doing it. Executive, you got anything?
Well, a lot of agreement, total agreement as always. You know, this media is slanted and does make you try to think that there's only two parties out there, because of the simple fact that all you ever see is mostly Trump and sometimes Clinton, and mostly Clinton and sometimes Trump. You hardly ever see anything about Jill. She's doing the best she can to get on, you know, BBC and possibly CNN and other different things. You see her on YouTube more often than you do on television. But, you know, because of that, not because they're trying to automatically block her out, because media is free. You can get on a program if you are requested, as she was on BBC, and that's a pretty big program to be on. But the fact that they're not having her on as often as you could, you know, she is a dynamite woman, as I said before, and you said before. She truly does have Americans' hearts, Americans' ideals, Americans' pastimes, Americans' dreams, the American dream in her thoughts to to give to us, to bring back to us. If you look at her little website thing and look at specifically the platform section, it's always been linked up ever since we've been talking about Jill in the description of the show. If you specifically click on the platform section and read in detail, if you have the time, you'll see the intricate, parts of her plan that do literally poke you in the gut and say, hey, I'm trying to do something for you. If you really look at it and it's plainly obvious that's what she's trying to do. And as you said, she has nothing, basically. She, compared to the other two candidates, she's barely raised anything. I looked it up, and she's barely raised $1.9 million compared to Clinton, who's raised $433.4 million more than her. And most of it, I would say 80% of it, or, well, I can't really say, that's kind of hard to calculate, but some of it includes self-finance, and she's financed herself to the tune of $40,000, which is a lot of money out of your own pocket to try to do what you want to do. That shows how much she cares and is trying to do for people. The top donators is retired people, $107,577. Then her, and then education, Democratic and liberal, electronics, manufacturing equipment, civil servants and public officials, health professionals, lawyers and law firms, printing and publishing, hospitals and nursing homes. So she's barely getting almost $2 million. She's a little bit away from there. But Clinton, however, has raised $435 million, which is even $307 million more than Trump, who's only raised a mere $127 million. But that's ridiculous, And speaking of getting her out there in the media, as I mentioned in the beginning, as you've mentioned before, she does have a thing to sign, a petition in there, and I put on the last show, it'll be on this show's description as well, the first link you'll see, and then her main campaign webpage. But here's an interesting fact that you'll see when you go to that page right after it says, it's in the home section, and then there's a tab called Get Involved, and then the next section is called Open the Debates, and you click on that one, tap on that one, and then here's the interesting fact I mentioned. It's time for the 60% of Americans who say we need a new major party. That's a pretty big percentage of Americans, and we need to get that somehow to work. To stand up for our right to open the debates. They want to be in the debates with everybody else. And I will have to say, everybody that supports Jill Stein, you've done a damn good job, because we have signed 89,006 signatures out of the 100,000 required. And that means we only need 10,994 more to go, which is a damn good thing. We're pretty close to it. I'm not sure where exactly this petition will be seen, if it'll be seen by the Republican Democratic parties.
No, I think it's going to be seen by the people who are posting or hosting these debates.
Okay.
That they should
it's
open
officially
it up
been signed.
And it probably will go to both of these idiot parties, but mostly to the people who host the debates.
That's what needs to be seen, is the people in charge of it say, well, here's the required amount you asked for, 100,000 signatures, so there's nothing you can do to stop it now. They got a picture of her up there with Clinton on the left, this Johnson guy next to her, then Jill with her nice smile, and then Trump with his little hand expression like he always does. And that's how it should be. All four of them up there debating. We don't have just two candidates, we have four. And, to have America back in our own hands would be a wonderful thing, to be able to afford food at a cheaper price, gas at a cheaper price now. America isn't what it used to be. Like you said earlier in the show, there's a major thoroughfare we have here in Los Angeles, and it's pretty darn close to us, about 4 blocks away. And it's called Wilshire Boulevard. Now there's another semi-major thoroughfare close to downtown, in the MacArthur Park area. There's a MacArthur actual park with a lake in here and grass and water fountains and everything, and it's called Alvarado Boulevard, or Alvarado. Now right there's a 99-cent store in the corner of that, and there's also the Metro 6th and Westlake subway station in that whole block area, where you can go down the escalators and everything. But on that part that's Alvarado that goes towards Wilshire, from about half block all the way up to the 99-cent store in the corner, it used to be, these people with little carpets on the ground selling stuff, these foreigners and stuff, these illegal ones selling everything. And when the cops used to come by, they would hurry up and scuffle up and put everything away and run away so they wouldn't get in trouble. But nowadays, it's gotten worse. It's almost the entire block now, and they've gotten more boisterous about it. They've gotten little tent covers now, and tables and chairs and everything, and even the Americans have joined in doing that. The cops don't seem to care anymore for illegality.
Oh no, they've been told to leave them alone by the mayor.
You're supposed to have a license to operate a business like that, especially if you're selling.
Don't bother them. This is a sanctuary city.
It's just ridiculous. Everywhere you go, even on another major thoroughfare that is major, Vermont and Wilshire, you smell some good smelling sausages sometimes, and they're cooking like bell peppers and onions, bacon wrapped sausages and everything. And officially, you're supposed to have a food selling license and your grade for how, what you got, A, B, or whatever. It's food service license, and they just let them get away with it.
Well, I wouldn't want to buy anything. They blow their noses on their shirts and wipe their nose, and they're steadily cooking.
Selling food, they're smushing oranges in an orange grinder thing and selling orange juice right in front of what used to be McDonald's.
Noses and going on about.
And
disgusting.
Sneezing and everything. And there used to be a McDonald's right closer to the next street, which is 7th, excuse me, if you're coming back closer to where you live. And they would be selling, and they still do, sometimes right in front of the NSS store too, but mostly in front of what used to be McDonald's, because there's so much unlikable people and transients and creepy people and stuff in there. I assume that's why that McDonald's is no longer in business. They shut their doors down. It's too creepy over there, and that's part of why America isn't the way it is anymore. It's too many businesses shutting down because of that, and that's what she's trying to do, is get America back in our hands. And that's really what we need, to have America the way it used to be way back in the day. We need to have someone like Reagan again, where you had good Reaganomics. Everything was affordable, and you were able to buy 2 cars, like you said. But with these other 2 candidate choices, that's a lousy guarantee that that's going to happen.
They're not the way. Jill Stein is the way. All of the things you heard the exec saying, all of this overrunning of foreigners, and all of these different people coming in here that don't have our best interests at heart. They care not about our Constitution. They care not about our Bill of Rights. They care only about what they can get from us. And, they're sitting on their butts, with their hand out saying, gimme, when the immigrants of old came over and helped build this nation. I have no problem with that. But with today's people coming in here doing bloody nothing, but just sponging off of America, making money in our country, and then going to some check cashing place and sending it back to their country at a reduced cost, having foreign businesses come in here, and if the post office charges you 50 cents per stamp, I don't know, I haven't bought a stamp in so long. How much are the stamps now?
It actually went down for the first time in I don't know how many years, maybe 50. Down from 49 to 47 cents.
Okay, they're 47 cents at the post office. But if you go to some of these businesses, they jack up the price to as much as 75 cents for a stamp. How can they do that when the United States that produces the stamp only charges 47 cents? This madness that has gone on for so long must stop. Jill Stein is an earthy person. She knows what we're talking about. She knows what we're feeling. She is us. Donald Trump can never have any empathy for us. The man sits up in a multi-billion-dollar tower and he looks down upon everybody else. Hillary Clinton is so crooked with her foundations and her emails and everything. She hasn't the time or the effort to think about us. As I said before, if big people weren't so big, little people wouldn't be so little. We need difference in our country. We need a change for good. Because Lord knows we've had so many changes for bad. So I urge you, take a look at Jill Stein. Get behind her with your support. Get behind her with your vote. Let's get her in the White House. It's not a need. It's not a want. It's a has to be. If we are ever to be proud again, if we are ever to feel secure again, in our country. Jill Stein, 2016. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, you're right. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off, and I apologize for making this even longer than it is, folks, but after you said something you said, it kind of made me upset towards what was said, and it needs to be mentioned. You know, these foreigners nowadays saying that, well, this country was built on this, we helped build this country. You need to not even have that statement even be thought in your head, or let alone come out your mouth. That's not the damn truth at all. That's the back in the day, the ones that rolled their sleeves up and tried to help build this nation, help build the Golden Gate Bridge and everything. You are nothing like them. Like you said, they'd come out with their hands saying, "Give me," so how dare you even think a thought that because of you the nation was built? That doesn't apply to you. That applies to the foreigners of old.
We shouldn't even be here to say it, but again, it's stupid, ignorant, and corrupt politicians that has caused this mess. So we need Jill Stein, someone with her intelligence, someone with her strength and courage and integrity to help us solve this huge, gargantuan problem. Jill Stein 2016, go there and support and tell people. If you want to share this show, by all means do it. We've got to get the message out. I can't be urgent enough about this. We only have about maybe 70 days or so to make this happen. And come on, folks, we can. I know we can. We need that same resilience. We need that same resolve that we had the day after 9/11. We came together as a country for a common good, to rebuild and to start to clean up and restructure our own country, because so much had been taken away from us on that day. Well, on November the 8th, so much can be given back to us on that day if we make the right choice. I urge you to start considering very seriously a Jill Stein presidency. We thank you so much for being with us and allowing us to have some of your day. Keep that smile on your face, because it is a deterrent and it's in total opposition to the crap that we have to face every day. In this crazy world, being as nutty as it is, try to maintain an air of happiness, stay safe, and as we always say, dump the hate and increase the peace. Join us for the Phil Taylor Jones Show next time. Bye-bye.